What up? This is Rapid. So Charleston White has some comments about Chicago that you're gonna want to check out.
You heard of Lil Jeff?
Who?
Lil Jeff. From Chicago.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of him.
Bloodhound Q50.
Yeah, I ain't never
They like the new up and coming rappers from Chicago.
Yeah, King Von left such big shoes for feel. We'll never deal. They just rapping trouble. Yeah, they ain't got no music that'll make it to the airways. They just some troublesome young kids that got some beats that make people tune in from the local areas. But King Von and Lil Durk was the reigning kings of Chicago, and since the fall, it's over with for Chicago.
And so, look, what Charleston White said about Chicago was, it's kind of realistic. I mean, when it comes down to it, Lil Durk and King Von were the peak of Chicago for the new generation. So Kanye West really was the most popular Chicago artist, and people thought Chicago was a certain sound. They thought Chicago was like Kanye West and Common and Lupe Fiasco. You know what I'm saying? Because Twista and all them and Do or Die and them, they didn't really rise to the level of these other artists. So this is the perception people had of Chicago. Then Chicago made that song, Don't Like. Kanye West did the remix of Don't Like, Chief Keef's song. And that's when everybody learned about Chief Keef. When Chief Keef did it on his own, it was popping. He was getting views and everything, but it wasn't to the level of where Kanye took that song. When Kanye took that song, it took off and put Chicago on the map. Lil Durk rose from that wave, and then a few others. You know what I'm saying? There was a moment when everybody was just popping out of Chicago at that moment, pretty much around that time of that Don't Like remix. And then Lil Durk was the one that lasted through all of that to become the top artist of Chicago for this generation. And so when he found and discovered King Von, that was about to peak at another level, because then King Von was taking off beyond where Durk was even going. And so Durk found King Von. So it was a moment where King Von and Durk and Kanye were all relevant at the same time. So Chicago was really doing its thing, because not only were they relevant as the superstars, the worldwide global superstars of the rap scene, but basically it was beyond Chicago music. This was, they were at a status where they were taking their music to a level where they were well renowned. And so now Ye has been wilding out and crashing out, so he's losing a lot of status and clout. And now you got King Von was unalived, and then now within about a couple years later, you got Durk now out the way from facing those charges. So Durk is in the battle for his life right now. So at this moment, you got Ye crashing out. Nobody really wants to listen to him no more, because what he's, his antics, he's losing a lot of fans. You know what I'm saying? People ain't rocking with that latest song he did, Cousins. You know what I'm saying? People ain't rocking with that no more. So that's making his whole catalog look kind of suspect now. You know what I'm saying? Personally, me, I've been removing a lot of his songs off of my playlist now, because, I can't really rock with that. So Kanye West is losing. He's finally losing his status. He crashed out so hard, he's losing his historic run now, because he decided to become woke and put out that song Cousins. And now Durk is he lost his move. You know what I'm saying? Durk is sitting in there. Nobody checked out his latest album like that. It underperformed. You know what I'm saying? It underperformed his new album called Deep Thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people wasn't feeling it like that, I guess, because they want that real Durk. They want the streets Durk, the trenches Durk. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get that, because he was, Durk said he didn't even listen to the album. So it was up to his engineers to piece together the album and make sure it's not going to be incriminating, because he got a trial coming up this year at the end of the year in October. So he didn't want to put out a lot of drill songs and nothing like that on the album. And it was pretty much an album that was very deep. It was very deep, and you can appreciate it for what it is. I appreciated it but I guess it didn't have that mainstream appeal. It didn't have no hit singles. It didn't have no push. You know what I'm saying? It didn't even have a video. So, you know what I'm saying? With the last album, you had All My Life, and it was carrying the album. Then you had that Alicia Keys intro. It was like people knew it was out. With this album, no one really is checking for it like that because he didn't have the promotion, or he wasn't free to even push it. So it didn't perform because of his status in jail. And now King Von, he put out like probably more albums since he passed, since before he was alive. Like he had like maybe 3 projects before, while alive, 2 or 3. I think really 2, because the third project I think pretty much dropped when the night he was unalive. So Welcome to O Block was his debut project. And then he had LeBron Von James or whatever, King Von James. It was a mixtape he dropped before that, and then he had Grandson Volume 1 before that. So he had like two projects before he was unalive. And then the third one, Welcome to O Block, was a real project, which was incredible. But then he dropped like, let me see, probably 2 or 3 after that no one really knew about as much. I don't know how well they performed either, because he had passed. So we lost King Von. So basically, King Von was about to surpass Durk. I mean, he had a lot of subscribers, and every song he dropped pretty much was doing 10 million. So he was pretty much crushing it. He was taking over rap basically, and this was drill rap and Chicago rap. So he was about to surpass Durk. So when we lost them, that was a big blow to Chicago. So now Charleston White's saying that we ain't got nobody left. So look, what he's talking about is basically Bloodhound, Q50, and Lil Jeff. He's saying he didn't know them. Well, Lil Jeff had a lot of potential, but he was mimicking King Von basically. He was using King Von's status as a #1 hitter, as a real live driller that's making music, and he was claiming like, a lot of hats, and what I'm saying, he had potential. Lil Jeff had potential, but we didn't get to see it realized because he had passed too soon, and he was more trenches than it seemed even King Von. Like his music didn't seem to have that crossover appeal like King Von had. King Von was able to make music that I think was surpassing any expectations of what drill was capable of doing without compromising. You know what I'm saying? King Von didn't really compromise, but at the same time, he knew how to make songs that would reach all audiences. It was just genius what King Von was doing with his music, and being able to make drill a household name, basically. Drill was about to be at its peak when Von and Durk was doing it, but Jeff, I didn't see it. Jeff was great. Jeff was next up in a way, but we didn't get to see what he was able to do because he was unalive before he could even take off at all. And then Q50, no, he ain't got it. I mean, not as far as the status of what Q50, Von and Durk did. You know what I'm saying? So, look, what Von and Durk did, it's a high bar. It's a high bar. So we're going to say that Q50 hasn't been proven to be that, or his boy Rel Vert even. Now, Bloodhound J Boogie, he's doing good too and everything. And Von off 1700 or whatever, Von off, I just call him. He's doing his thing, but it's not really like what we know is the status, what the bar is. You know what I'm saying? The bar is, can you have a hit song? So you see Durk, it took for Drake to get him crossed over. It took for Drake to cross over Durk into the mainstream. Because before that, Durk was struggling to break through as a mainstream artist. When Drake took him on that song, when he passed him that song, to jump on for them. He did like half of 16. He did like 8 bars, and that's what propelled Durk into status beyond drill. You know what I'm saying? He was now well known, and he took advantage of that by following up with that with the DJ Khaled and Lil Baby song, which was his first real radio smash since that Drake song. So then now he had 2 songs, but they were both features. He had the Khaled song, Khaled with Lil Baby, that song, and then he had the Drake song. Those were both featured though. So then he followed up not too long after that with All My Life with J. Cole, which was him as the lead, but it was still a feature song. So he didn't really have a hit song that's just him, but as far as a global, worldwide song smash hit, All My Life, you could say, certified him as a credible artist in the national scene of rap. You know what I'm saying? Beyond region, beyond genre, beyond drill. It was beyond music even. It was, All My Life was something that took Durk to a level possibly even comparable to the Drake song or better, because he had more time on that song. He had more verses, more, he was more on the song than the Drake song. The Drake song was basically all Drake with just a little bit of Durk. So now you could say All My Life was probably in the DJ Khaled song was his biggest hits, where he really shined through. So at that point, he was about to take off and do even better things, but now he's locked up. So I don't think nobody else can fill his shoes right now. I think Charleston White has a point, but you just got to be patient, because it definitely don't seem like the Q50. The Bloodhound guys. It don't seem like they got that star power to really be respected in the game as a national recording artist, beyond drill, beyond the subgenre of drill. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna do good numbers. Q50 and them and Bloodhounds, they're doing good numbers, but it's not that look that Durk and Vaughn had. And then so Chief Keef, he's not even relevant now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really checking for Chief Keef like that. I don't think he can get it back either, because he wasted too much time. You know what I'm saying? When he came out with Kanye West and that Don't Likes remix, that's what put everybody's eyes on Chicago. And then Chief Keef was on, and then he had the chance to really take off, but he was fumbling the bag. He didn't show up to the video shoot with 50 Cent and Wiz Khalifa for Hate Being Sober. And after that, it went downhill, because he was kicked off of Interscope, and then he ended up getting on a weak label, kind of. It wasn't a high profile label anymore. And then after that expired, that contract was finally done. Nobody was really checking for him anymore, because that label kind of ruined his career. That label he signed with, Film on TV or something, and they put out a few projects like Bang 3, I think it was, and a few others, but they didn't really do anything, because the label didn't really know what they was doing, and it wasn't Interscope. You know what I'm saying? So by the time that contract was over, you know what I'm saying, by then, Chief Keef run was done. So yeah, that's it for Chief Keef. Polo G, he got potential, you know what I'm saying, to be something, to bring something back to Chicago. I think G Herbo, he really reached where he's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? He's where he's at. G Herbo he's doing him, you know what I'm saying? He's at a level where I would say somewhere like a Wiz Khalifa level or something. He's very well known. I'd say his status is more comparable to like Wiz Khalifa, where it's a pretty well known rapper and everything, but it's not a super mainstream artist. You haven't heard a G Herbo song really on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like as a top 20 countdown type song or something, like you hear Glorilla and them, and you know what I'm saying, the new wave of takeover rap, which is a lot of female rappers are getting spins. Well, they were, at least. Right now, rap's kind of in a situation, in a critical phase right now, where they need overall rap is kind of, I don't know, some people are saying kind of on life support a little bit, but I wouldn't say life support. I would say it's just, rap is kind of in a moment right now where it's not at its peak anymore. So in general, let alone Chicago. So G Herbo, though, I don't really see him doing much because he would have already did it by now. He still has time. Polo G, he's reaching a certain level. We'll see what Polo G does. I don't think, like I said, the Bloodhound guys ain't it. They're not gonna be the next people to become that, him out of Chicago. Ain't nobody gonna be him. Duck, Duck had his chance, but his time was cut short. He was doing his thing. His status was never quite Durk level though. It was up there, but it's not quite Durk level. Fredo had a chance, but that was so like I said, Durk was pretty much him. You know what I'm saying? That was him. So the problem with Chicago rappers, like Charleston White said, is none of them staying alive. You know what I'm saying? None of them staying alive or free. So that's gonna make it difficult for rap out of Chicago to get a star because something always be happening, to the top Chicago rapper. But never forget what Chicago did for rap. They changed the game. They made shooting videos easy. You know what I'm saying? They stopped all the high production videos and made it cool to shoot videos in your home or on your block. You know what I'm saying? In the trenches. That's the Chicago changed music in a way. They took trap and turned it into something else. They did what they did with it. You know what I'm saying? So. But yeah, I think Charleston White has a point though. I mean, yeah, he's probably right. Right now, Chicago is on life support. I mean, it's not done. It's not finished right now. As long as you got the Q50s and you got the Q50s and the Polo Gs and the G Herbos and the Von Offs and the Bloodhound, J Boogies, and as long as you got that stuff going on, Chicago is gonna find a way. I wouldn't be surprised if another Chicago artist rises one of these days, but it's just not clear when. As long as they can keep that level of ambition going, where if at least remain at a status as of right now, where you got something to listen to out of Chicago, where it's not completely crashed out, you know what I'm saying? I think we got a chance, you know what I'm saying? Because no one respected Chicago. No one even knew what Chicago was when they thought it was just Lupe and Common and Kanye. People was like, oh, that's Chicago. And then when Kanye did that Don't Like song, that's when people realized, oh, Chicago got the trenches too. They didn't know Chicago was like that. And then Chief Keef, showed people what drill was, and people had no idea Chicago was like that. So this was just, 10 years ago. So I wouldn't write it off. You know what I'm saying? I think drill is here to stay. Chicago music is here to stay because it's been in the background for a long time. It just wasn't on top for, they had like Crucial Conflict and Do or Die and Psychodrama and Triple Darkness, and you know what I'm saying? Chicago had a lot of artists throughout the years that just never really went to the top. Twister, you know what I'm saying? They had their artists. They're always gonna have artists, but now I think we're in a position where Chicago is gonna be a force to reckon with. It just might not be its time right now to be at the very top without Durk, because Durk was the one. You know what I'm saying? He was the crossover artist that was a household name. He became a household name, and for another household name to happen out of the drill scene, it could happen. It can happen, but I think it's gonna be a new artist that we're not seeing right now. It's probably gonna have to be a new artist, because none of the artists I mentioned in this video have reached past that level of, where they got hit songs. Hit songs is how you're a hit artist, you're a national artist, you're beyond your genre, You know what I'm saying? Durk did that. So it's a rare thing for an artist to rise that high into the game, but it's possible. We'll have to just be patient. I think there's gonna be another artist to rise up. I just don't know if it's gonna be any of the artists we're seeing right now. If anything, like I said, Polo G or G Herbo has a chance. I'd say Polo G more got a chance to make something happen, to rise to a level of, you know, beyond like the trenches, to be more like a household name. Polo G kind of has a shot at that, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'll keep y'all posted though. Let me know who you think is next up for Chicago to take over, since Durk and OTF is having some trouble right now. Let me know who you think has potential to be that next superstar rapper out of Chicago. That's about it today, y'all. Let's get 100 likes on this video. Make sure you subscribe, and let's see. Also, let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna leave links in the comment section. Make sure you follow Rap HITZ on all social media. I'm out.